just in, the FBI is investigating the destruction that we saw at the Francis Scott Key Bridge. This is just in. They've opened a criminal investigation into what really went down. That was quite a sight, a horrific sight. The ship that was going underneath, the container ship that was from Singapore that was going underneath that bridge that broke it. You can see, here we go. I mean, just horrific to see this thing go down. It lost its power just moments before. Well, you say, how does it just lose its power? How could that possibly happen? The administration really had no good answers. In fact, at the time, they said, well, we're ruling out terrorism. We don't really think that would be it. We don't think that there was necessarily, anything really, really foul play going on. And yet all of a sudden today, weeks later, what do you know? The FBI is opening a criminal investigation. This should have been done, frankly, in my estimation, like day one, because there are logical questions that need to be asked in this moment in time. Then you say, well, why is it? Why is it now? Like, what could it possibly be? I mean, other than, the obvious thing that typically a container ship doesn't just lose power right as it's approaching a bridge and go straight into the bridge, right? Like that's sort of that's never, as far as I know, never really happened before. It tragically cost the lives of 6 people, construction workers that were working there. And by the way, I should point out, is resulting in enormous infrastructure consequences, major economic consequences, because the Port of Baltimore is going to be closed for weeks as a result of this, probably months. You've got debris from the bridge and the container ship that's continuing to be removed. The timeline is really up in the air on this. We don't know how long it's going to take. And this is an important bridge. I mean, think about what this means to the region. Apparently, according to the conference board, some $15 million in economic activity will actually be cost there in the Baltimore region. They're going to have to basically reroute so many of these cargo ships and put them into larger East Coast ports, including the Port of Virginia, Port of New York, Port of Savannah, which don't have the capacity at this moment in time to absorb this kind of freight. So again, it's a major economic hit. It's a major infrastructure hit. It's a hit to our psychology, especially if we learn that this was deliberate, which is what they've got to investigate now. Criminal investigation now underway. And so there have been a couple of things that I suspect may be influencing this. Let's look at just what's happened in the last week. I apologize. I did not report on this story for you guys at the time. It was actually a little confusing because it was like, oh my gosh, it's like, it's happening again. Like, what exactly is going down? Well, it turned out that there was a huge cargo ship that lost power near a major New York bridge recently. Yeah, that happened, it was April 8th, so rather recently. So just a short time after what went down in Baltimore, you get word that another bridge, this one in New York, was actually in possible jeopardy. So why would it be losing its power just as it approaches? And then why did nothing happen? I don't know. So this is the Verrazano Bridge, I think. I hope I said that right because, Drew's from Long Island, so he's going to get after me if I didn't. But this is kind of a big deal. And then there was something that happened over the weekend. I want to share this with you because this is very strange. Turns out that another bridge, this one in the Ohio River, was affected. It got hit by one of these barges that broke loose. 26 barges breaking loose there in the Ohio River in Pittsburgh. Hey, Pete Buttigieg, little guy, where are you when we need you, right? Aren't you like the head of infrastructure here? Like, isn't that your job? You got train derailments in East Palestine, Ohio. You got planes falling out of the sky. You get all kinds of balloons floating everywhere over our country. And now we got bridges getting banged into by cargo ships and barges. I think it's time you investigate. Just saying, FBI, I think it's high time that you investigate. So I'm pleased that this announcement is coming out today, but I think it's overdue. I mean, this went down on March 26th. We should have been investigating right away. Maybe they were, and they just don't tell us, right? Because they don't tell us everything. At the time, Joe Biden addressed the questions surrounding whether or not there had been any foul play in that bridge collapse in Baltimore. And he said, quote, he posted this actually. He posted this on X. There are no indications that this was an intentional act, and we are assessing the impacts to the Port of Baltimore. Well, now the FBI is paying close attention, as it should. I mean, we got to wake up to whatever the heck is going on.